Hello, everyone. Hi, this is Dr. Yolanda Butler for Mother's Perspective. How are you doing? I want to say Happy Mother's Day to everyone and let them know that I was thinking about you, praying about you, because mothers, they are special people to be able to do all they can do, taking care of the kids, the family, the husband, and still maintaining their own well being. So happy Mother's Day to everyone. I wanted to make sure I said that. Also, I was looking at the month of May, and because it's Mother's Day, and I realized that the month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And we don't really like to talk about mental health, but it is something that I was meditating on, and God brought it to me that we need to address it because when you think about mothers who harm their children and individuals who harm themselves and individuals that want to harm others, going into malls, shooting and things. There is a mental issue that's going on. And we have to also learn how to recognize it and see it for what it is, not to be afraid of it, but to acknowledge it and to see and to pay attention to others, our family members, our children, because with our children, the world is all upside down and topsy turvy. We got war going on, prices going up, gas at $5 a gallon. So things are getting a little stressful. And so we have to be able to manage our mental health with all this that's going on. Also, um, I've also thought about my mom, during this time. And I used to remember um, on Saturdays, she would go downtown. That's when downtown was the spot. You had shopping stores, you had restaurants, Woolworths, the Forum. You could just go down there and just lose yourself downtown. But she would go down there and she would spend the whole day, and we would be begging, "Can we go downtown? Can we go downtown?" She like, "No, no, no. This for me. I need to go downtown." So she would go downtown, spend the whole day just by herself. And I realized as I got older, she was taking a mental health break. She was doing something for herself to keep her together, to take care of her kids, her husband, and to do all the things that's required of her. But she took that time to have some self care. So and I also remember my mother and her friends, they had prescriptions, and today we can't get those prescriptions, but they were called volumes, and volumes were used to treat anxiety disorder, and so these pills they use, and the doctors readily gave them to the mothers, and I also remember my mother. The doctors would put you in the hospital just for you to get some rest. It wasn't about the insurance or anything, but it was about if they saw anxiety or stress in a woman, and then they would put them in the hospital for a few days just to just give them a mental break. So mental health is important, and the way we were dealing with it back when I was a child to what we're dealing with now, because we kind of ignore it, we kind of push it aside. Be strong, hold your head up, don't cry, press your way through, get through it, and everybody doesn't have that capability. Doesn't have that capability. So that's why I want to just talk about it a little bit. Also, I remember another drug that doctors used to give was called Percocet. It was used for pain. And as I was thinking about, these times, when I think about my mom and them and her friends and stuff, and we kids, we didn't know what they were talking about. Like, you got a Valium, you got a Percocet, we didn't know what they were talking about, but they were trying to keep themselves together mentally, and this is what was happening. So all of this occurred between the 1960s, 1970s, 80s, and then even some of the 90s. And so mental health now has come to the forefront where we have a month where we just focus on mental health. So as we look at this, I want to let you know that mental health awareness just refers to the recognition and understanding of mental health issues and the importance of emotional and psychological well being. Life be lifing, situations be occurring, and you don't have to be a bad person for life to be lifing and situations occur. It could be, you just was driving and the cop pulled you over and you forgot to renew your tags. And now you got to get your tags. Now they want to bring you to court, or you forgot to file your income tax last year or something, and they send you a notice. I mean, these are things that because of life, such things get missed that we supposed to handle, and stuff be coming at us fast. So we have to take time to just breathe. Just breathe in and breathe out. So we just want to educate individuals about the mental health conditions and the symptoms and the significance of timely support and treatment. What I recognize in our young women and men is that we don't like to discuss what's going on with us, with our parents, or with older or elder individuals. You want to discuss them among yourselves, but no one has the answer. The seniors or the elders are the ones that lived enough life so that they can give you the right answer. And most of them, they just hold things in until one thing happened and they just blow up and they're just going off on everyone, screaming and yelling, and everybody trying to figure out what's going on, what happened. And so a lot of times being quiet in those situations and discussing situations that's going on is part of you just not developing in your emotions and your mental health here. You have to begin to talk and communicate. And this misnomer like it's my business and I don't want to talk about it. And it just need to be done away with. It just need to be erased, and talk to the people that are around you, your parents. Even if they just dare to give a listening ear, somebody that can give you comfort. Sometimes you just need to let it out so that you don't have it all bottled up. And then when one thing happens, your dynamite exploding. Life happens. Everything is not going to happen to make you, everything is not going to occur that's going to make you happy. Some things going to make you sad. Some things are not going to go your way. Some things are not going to line up. You have your dreams, you have your goals, and sometimes everything is not going to flow the way you have planned it. And you got to make the adjustment in life. And so that's part of what this mental health awareness is, to give you understanding and to raise awareness and to reduce the stigma and promote empathy and encourage, intervention that can help you through the situation. When I look back and I see, mothers that have murdered their children, have taken their lives, young people that have taken their lives. And, you be like, well, I talked to them. Well, I just thought they, was in their own world. I thought they would snap out of it. We as parents also, aunts, uncles, we just need to, hey, what's going on? How you doing? And I do it even with my grandchildren. If we're sitting there watching a show and it's something on the show that I could spark up a conversation, and I'll say, what you think about that? What you think? How you feel about that? These are things that we just have to use to investigate, to get in their world, to see what's happening. Because that mental and emotional and psychological well-being is very difficult. So my biblical point of that I'm going to take today is from Isaiah 26:3. And it says, you will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. Most of what I'm talking about here is we have to get back to our spiritual roots. We have to get back to God because if you don't have that relationship with God, you cannot access that perfect peace that I just read. And so it's about when life is going crazy, I can have God there to to reel me in, to let me know that I got you. It's gonna be all right because situations has happened in my life that I should be somewhere sitting in the corner eating paper. But because of God in my life and because of my relationship with God, he was able to keep me in perfect peace. Keep while the storms of life was raging, I was able to just to be still, and he handled it. He directed me. He gave me the okay. He let me rest in his arms. He wrapped his loving arms around me. So my biblical point is just, hey, you got to get back to God so you can get connected to that perfect peace that I just read here in Isaiah, the 26th chapter and the 3rd verse. Because this verse is just telling us peace is found by trusting God, by trusting him. And so in those situations in my life where I had just like, I mean, to the point where it said, just go on and take a drink. Just drink and get drunk, drown your tears, or drown your sorrows and drinking and all of that. And I just wouldn't do it. I just began to say, Lord, you're going to help me through this. I'm going to get through this. And even our temporary fixes like alcohol, weed, drugs, all of that. It doesn't. Even being sexual active and sexual partners, you feel good for a moment, but the problem is still there. So we have to get to a place where we find refuge either in God, and if you don't have that relationship, then you need to get with people or individuals and professionals to help you through when life is lifing. When life is lifing. So we want to continue to remember that. So as I go through this month of May, my next podcast will be on May 28th. I'm going to give you some connections, some resources that if you have if you having some mental challenges, if you feeling you can't make it, these are resources that you can use. And so that's what I want you to do. And so the importance of the importance of this mental health awareness is to let us know that we can emotionally and psychologically have good well-being, that we can be okay. But we have to educate ourselves about it, though. We have to see what our health conditions is. We have to see the symptoms. We have to value our time and get support and get treatment. And so that we can foster understanding and reduce the stigma, as I say, and promote access to the appropriate care. And so they have hospitals, they have people that are there for you so that you can be okay. And that's all it's about, being okay. It's life is going to throw you a curveball, and I've lived long enough to know that. It's going to throw you a curveball every now and then, but you got to make the adjustment. You got to not waddle in the sorrow or waddle in the situation or in the occurrence that has happened. You got to keep moving. And you got to also find the things that's going to give you peace. I'm one of them ones. I like gardening. I like being in the yard. If you like listening to music, do that. I even say, fix up your house. Maybe a new coat of paint on the walls or a nice rug on the floor, new sheets. These are things that you can do to help elevate your mental health. And that's what it's about. You want to continue to do the things that's going to make you feel good. in the midst of all of the chaos that's around you. And stop blowing up and cussing out people. You know, part of the situation with the road rage and people shooting one another just because they got cut off. Those are part of the mental health issues. You know, there's something going on right there. That's not just because you cut them off. They got other issues and situations going on in their life, and then you cutting them off was just like the last straw, you know, the thing that broke the camel's back. You know, so we gotta get to where God wants us to be. God wants us to be, and then we have to get to the tools that's going to help us be better in our emotional and psychological state. We have to do that. So we want to continue to look at that and continue to um, be aware of it. Don't just let things go. Talk about it. Just don't let situations, you know. And another thing that we do, we don't want to talk. We get mad and then we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk to nobody. No, get you a person where you have a safe space where you can let it all out. Because you being mad and upset, it's not healthy. It's not healthy, and you holding all of that in, and in the meantime of it, it's gonna blow up in you. It's gonna blow up in you. So so I want to just talk about that. And now because of COVID, you know, you could get mental health services online. You could just go online and speak with a mental health specialist to make sure that you are doing that so that you can get the help you need. And sometimes we just think, oh no, I ain't nothing wrong with me. No, 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 no. Let's get to the root of the problem. I know a friend of mine said, you have to peel away the onion to get to the root of the situation. So let's talk about it. Let's get to that. So you got crisis, and then you have crisis hotlines that you can call, that you could talk to individuals. These are of no charge. Just let them know what's going on with you, and then they can direct you to the proper place. I know we have a lot of young women that have, you know, one or two or three children, and you seem like you can't make it through. You have facilities where you can go and drop your children off and give you a time alone for yourself. You know, because I know two or three children it can be a lot sometimes, especially if you got younger children. So we want you to do that also. So these are little resources that I'm giving you that you can use for your mental health, for your emotional and psychological state, so that you don't have to blow up, so you could be at peace, so you can have a hoosah a moment. And that's what it's about. So you can relax. You know, sometimes, like I said, I love gardening, but I love flowers, and I put flowers on my porch where I could just go sit. I got wind chimes blowing on the porch. You know, stuff like that. Those are simple things you can do. Just sit on the porch, or just sit and relax and just let the breeze or the day just roll over you. These are simple things. Don't cost you anything to do. But it's a moment of time where you can just relax and just let your thoughts, just let them go. And so that in the midst of it, you can have peace that surpasses all understanding, according to my Bible. But you can take these moments just to let go and let God, because he could come in at that time. Even if you don't have that relationship, just from me telling you how to get that relationship through Isaiah 26:3, you can now hear God, and he'll give you directions because he loves you. He loves you, and I love you, and that's why I'm here today, to give you solutions, understanding, perspective on your life, and that it don't have to be as miserable as you making it out to be. Sometimes I just think people just love drama, they just love misery, they love to complain, but it's not healthy. It's not healthy, and it's time for you to get help for yourself. as I said, the crisis hotline, you can do that. You can also reach out to online therapy services. And then I'm going to extend to you that you can start going to church and hearing the word of God. And you don't and if you ain't ready to go to church, they have enough word coming across the internet, coming across Facebook, Instagram, that you can get a word for yourself that could comfort your soul. Comfort your soul, because your soul is in turmoil, it's in frustration, it's just you about ready to just lose it. And I'm letting you know you don't have to. Now is the time to just say, hey, I need help. I need help. And the closest thing to you would be your mother. And if you don't have your mother, your auntie. That auntie that's been around for a long time. And she can give you wisdom from her experiences, her life experiences. Or that uncle, the young men. Go to that uncle that's a man, and you see him as a man, and he can give you understanding as to be a man and how to be a man and how to deal with life situations and circumstances. Old folks said you got to take the bull by the horn, and you got to just go and move and do. You can't give up. A lot of time I say, we ask people, how you doing? And they'll say, oh, I'm just holding on. And my response to them is, keep holding on. Don't let go. Long as you holding on, you doing okay. You doing okay. Don't let go. So that's what it's about today. Mother's Perspective, mental health awareness. And I'm going to be continuing talking about this so that we, I, can have perfect peace in God, in our situations, our emotional state could be at peace. Because life, as I said, can get really chaotic sometimes, you know? And these called me like, Auntie, I was just riding down the street, and a piece of a car flew off the car and hit her car and tore it up. It's like, what the world? And then one of the brothers, his tire blew out on the freeway and he hit the wall. These are you have no control over this. But it could be the very thing to just say, I'm done. I'm checking out. I can't take no more. No, you can make it through this. It's making you a better person, a stronger person, And another thing that the old folks used to say, you never know what God can do till you go through some of these situations, because he will be there for you. He will be there for you. So I thank you, and I bless you that you would take this time out to do the research, that mental health is not about being crazy. It's not being lunatic or anything like that. It's about having emotional and psychological stability in this chaotic life. That's all it's about. And that you recognize the signs that, would send you over the edge, that what you need to do. So for myself, I'm like, when I'm getting overwhelmed, it's just time for me to sit down and just relax. Watch a good movie, watch a little show. I'm a Law and Order fanatic. Watch a few Law and Order episodes, Hawaii Five-0. Those are my peace. Those are my peace. I relax. I enjoy that. It's entertainment for me. And so those are the things that you can do. So therapy online, we got the crisis center, and then you got mom, dad, uncle, auntie, and even that neighbor next door that sits on the porch and rocks and say, hey, baby. So, hey, you got people around you that you can talk with and to keep you in a great, great, great emotional and psychological state. So until next time, remember, Dr. Yolonda Butler, A Mother's Perspective. I love you, and you can't do a thing about it. See you next time.